Hello, folks. Bringing you another story, this time from the University of New Mexico, where Monica Pompeo, a student, has lost her lawsuit against her college in claiming that her professor violated her free speech by kicking her out of class for criticizing lesbianism in an essay. On the initial court documents, civil rights and free speech advocates were totally up in arms about the treatment of this student. And a federal judge refused the college's request to dismiss the case. But that same judge, Cristina Armijo, said in her dismissing order that she had not seen the student's paper or the professor's response, and the court erred in denying the university's first request to dismiss the case. Sounds a little fishy. Armijo wrote that further investigation into the case showed the student's professor offered her numerous opportunities to rewrite her essay and adhere to academic standards. First of all, I thought there was something called free academic speech. I thought places of education were supposed to be where all views mix, even if you disagree with them. But never mind, moving on. The dismissal also shows that the student's professor, Caroline Hinckley, was personally offended by Pompeo's views, or the student in question. Well, I think it's becoming more clear-cut what went on. The student claimed she had been ostracized and kicked out of the class after expressing anti-gay views in an essay. Now, I'm not a big supporter of being anti-anything, but if this is just a view that you have and this is your opinion, this should not be hurting anyone, as long as you're not manifesting actions of hatefulness towards this group of people. The dismissal order also shows that the teacher, Hinckley, and her boss, Susan Dever, went through numerous rounds of emails, meetings, and phone calls. The professors attempted to tell the student that in her critical and analytic paper needed to be substantiated in accordance with academic standards. Otherwise, they remained opinions. So this student's views, since they weren't substantiated in accordance with academic standards, which to me means which is not in accordance with what we want you to do, they're opinions. This is very dangerous. For example, the ruling shows that Dever's professional suggestions to the student on rewriting her paper. Dever suggested Pompeo change the word barren in her paper to childless, as Pompeo described the wombs of lesbians in the film. Dever said childless had less derogatory tone, to which Pompeo replied, and I will probably use the word barren. It is my choice. I don't like to be told what words I may and may not use, ever. I support you. I think this is absolutely crazy that this woman's only critique, apparently from this article, is showing that she didn't like the choice of words that were referenced to these sort of people. I mean, this is her opinion and how she feels about this lifestyle. Also, Hinckley asked Pompeo to back up her statements about homosexuality, writing on the margin on Pompeo's paper, "Why is attraction to the same sex perverse?" Because this is how she feels. She is not attracted to the same sex, and by her looking at another person of the same sex, she is appalled that somebody could be attracted to that. That is her view and her opinion. And she should have the academic and freedom to express that. At one point, this teacher told the student that some of her language could be considered hate speech. And the student responded like a true warrior and told Hinckley that some of the films in class were unendurable, to which the teacher, Hinckley, replied that there would be more such films. Now, how can a teacher listen to a student say they're uncomfortable and say there will be more films? To me, this needs to be re-looked at in court, and they need to have a judge who is not in bed with the PC police. Armijo ultimately ruled, that's the judge by the way, ultimately ruled that the professors conducted an attempts to change how Pompeo used her language was to summarize the ruling within the scope of teaching and was not a violation of her constitutionally protected right to free speech. But she noted the law was vague on the issue. The federal appeal has been filed and is currently in the mediation stage. According to court records, the next hearing in this case is set for January. Folks, can we please get some support for this student, please? The student's name is Monica Pompeo, and she's a student at the University of New Mexico. The professor's name is Caroline Hinckley. This is just another blatant example of attack on free speech. They want you to substantiate claims that they can't even substantiate. This is totally not an isolated incident. People are dealing with this all over this country. And I think it's sad. Why can't this student have her view? Why can't she write a paper about how she truly feels? Because the only way you're going to grow in education is if you listen to views that you don't disagree with, and instead of banning them, you give this person the tools to understand why you feel their viewpoint is wrong. You don't get upset. You don't try to force them to change it because you don't like it. It's totally unacceptable that college students have to censor themselves. They're going to censor themselves in these universities when you promise them a job, and when they get to the real world, they are going to be cut down by the brutal and ruthless nature of this world. I support this student 100%. This teacher needs to quit being offended at everything and learn how to teach. And her boss needs to quit telling people what words they can use and not use because she feels they'll be more offensive than others. That's my opinion. Thank you.